Come on, bud. All right. Excuse me. Thursday, quick little video for Mr. Waltini. So I always start out my trainings with marker in position. So a marker is going to be a word that marks a moment in time that I like something that he does. And then for him, that's going to announce the arrival of food, of a reward. And I basically just want to create an association between the two things where word equals food, and that way, whatever he's doing when he hears that word, that behavior will theoretically take on the good feeling of receiving food, so that he's more likely to repeat it in the future, right? It's a positive reinforcement. So he has a couple of different markers that have, Walter, yes. Oh God, you got some hair, that have different meanings as far as what I'm looking for with a behavior. So the first one is going to be the word yes, and then we have good and okay. So these two things, yes is going to basically equal a quick payout. It allows me to get in a bunch of reps to shape new behaviors. When he hears it, all he has to do is come take food. He does not have to continue the behavior. And I use that one predominantly when teaching new behaviors, when I'm not really expecting the dog to understand the concept of duration. Usually they're just going to show me a behavior, I pay them, we move on, we can do it a bunch of times. And then we have duration, which is the word good again. I'm going to pay him in behavior. I'm going to build value and lengthen the amount of time that he's in behavior. And I really want to help him with that since he is a younger dog, he's pretty sporadic, he kind of gets distracted easily and has a short attention span. So I want to help him really understand how to remain in behavior and that there is good stuff when he does do that. So yes, again, that's going to be as shaping new behaviors. I'm using that a lot to build engagement, especially since he is a little bit reactive in the sense where he is, oh my gosh, where he is very invested in his environment and he tends to get caught up in those things. So I want to put value on me as a handler when we're out doing stuff. Everything right now is definitely just, sir, in the training room where there aren't as many distractions. He definitely tends to find some things distracting. The cats are in here. There's just good sniffs and all of that stuff. So I want to help him understand how to pay attention to me. For him, responding to leash pressure, it's something that he, naturally for most dogs, they protest a little bit, so he's willing to lean into that leash. Walter, yes. When he comes back towards the source of the pressure, I can mark and pay that. So I'm showing him, yes, that when he responds the appropriate way to leash pressure, when he moves towards its source and responds to it, yes, he can get paid for that. So you'll see there he hears the word yes and he has a reflexive responsive because we've been conditioning that when he hears the word yes, that he knows, hey, I can come take some snackos from you. And then we have duration, sit, good, as soon as he does the behavior, good. I can bring the food to him, good. And then, okay, terminal marker, meaning that the behavior is over. Right now it's mostly just, I'm going to pay you for doing the things, and I'm gradually adding in leash pressure into those behaviors during our learning phase so that he knows what leash pressure is asking. I want him to learn it in this context so that way, Walter, yes, when we are around bigger distractions and he's conflicted because he is motivated elsewhere and I still need him to do behaviors with me, if I need to use pressure to communicate with him, I don't want that to be an additional stressor if he doesn't know what it's asking. So I want to build reliability in behavior through enforcing things and then motivating when possible. So again, if he's really distracted and all of the things are happening, I'm asking him to do something. It's not necessarily that he's purposely ignoring me, he's going where his motivators are. So I want him to understand what the heck Malisha is asking him to do. Come on, wait. Good. Good. I want him reflexively good, responding to the word and not my hand movements. Oops, he didn't get it. I don't want him only responding to my movements that are insinuating I'm going to be giving him food. So you'll see me do some like fake stuff. The only thing good that brings food is that word. Everything else is just a byproduct. And I do it that way so that good. if he's responding to the word and not my movements. If we're out walking or doing something and he's not looking at me and I go to pay him, good. If he's not looking at me, then he's not going to be able to see that I'm rewarding a behavior. So I really need him to be responding to the words. And again, leash pressure, I'm going to start adding in rules for these behaviors, specifically duration. Good. Where right now I'm asking him to sit, super simple behavior, and I'm neutralizing movement and things like that, steps away. Good. Paying him for remaining in that behavior. And then if I do too much, I can say nope, or if he breaks out of behavior, I can say nope. Use that leash pressure to guide him back into behavior, or it could be a little bit of spatial pressure. I'm using my body. Good. Good. To show him what the rules are. When I ask you to sit or whatever the behavior is, I want you to keep doing that until I either pay you with the YES, or I say, okay. That's a fuzz. Another thing that we're doing, because he likes to jump, and I know he likes to pick on the cat, we're working on an out command. So an out just means give something space. It could be my person, which is where we're starting, or it can mean leave an outside resource alone. So if he's sniffing at the cats or picking on them, eventually we get to a point where when I say out, he can move away from them. He's going to reflexively respond to that word. So right now, hop up. I'm gonna invite him into my space. Out, I take a step towards him and I toss food away. So I'm just building that muscle memory. Out, when he sees this picture, he runs backwards to get treats. And then eventually it'll just be out, yes. And because he's already expecting it, he starts to offer those behaviors and I'll pay him for doing that. Eventually what we'll do is I will, once he's a little bit more solid with that muscle memory and that reflexiveness, I will start asking for that away from things that are away from me, from the leash. So I can call him away from picking at things, getting into something, chewing on something, harassing the cats, whatever the thing. Right, bud? See? Good. Yes. Yeah, buddy. Good job. So our first couple of sessions, he just was kind of at the end of the leash wanting to go around and sniff things, which is pretty normal. And it kind of lingered in that state. Even when I would go to offer him food, he would walk past me to go do something else, which is what I was talking about, where he wasn't super motivated. If he wasn't captivated by anything else and what I was asking him was super, super easy, he would take food. But there was just, I could tell that he was like, I don't even care about this right now, I'm full, I don't need anything. It's kind of like when you go out to eat and you're like, do you want dessert? If you're stuffed, even though it sounds delicious, and you're like, I don't need that, whatever, versus if you actually were still a little bit hungry or you weren't absolutely stuffed, that might be much more appealing. So that's kind of around the same realm that I'm going for. I don't need him to be starving, I don't want that. I don't want to have him be like starving for food. I just want him to kind of learn like, oh, this is an opportunity to take food. And I am not overly satiated to refuse it, if that makes sense. Anyway, if you have any questions, this is just bare minimum stuff right now. I'm not going to give too in-depth of a thing just yet. We're still working on some foundational behaviors. Most of the stuff this week's, or at least up to this point, this is Thursday morning, we've just been doing stuff in the training room. This afternoon and tomorrow we'll start doing stuff around the perimeter of the facility, and then we'll start going on field trips next week once he is ready for that. I don't want to take him into too distracting environments too soon, just because we're going to set him up for failure in that sense. All right, right, bud? Oh my gosh, there's dogs barking.